Cooking with Dad.
Welcome to Cooking with Pap. How many times have you came home and you forgot to get that chicken out? Get it marinated and ready to go into the smoker. But what we're going to do is inject it. We're going to put it in with a teriyaki. As you can see, I already have it seasoned. What I like to do is put a garlic and herb kinders on it and then follow it up with a honey rub from Heath Riles. Pretty good stuff. You know, what I like to do is keep it moist, so that's where the teriyaki comes in. You know, what I did before I put the chicken on, I sprayed it with Pam just to keep it from sticking once it goes into the smoker. So what I'm going to do is put some of this teriyaki in here. What you don't want to do is put the injector into the teriyaki because you're not going to use it all, and whatever you have in this cup, you're just going to throw away. So you just kind of fill it up, kind of inject it. As you can see, it'll come out, but that's all right. It'll kind of go into the cookie sheet, and that's why it's there, just to make it easy to clean up. Put it in the dishwasher and away you go. But as you can see, it's filling up with flavor, keeping it moist, makes it nice and easy to mess with. There are other marinades out there, but what you got to look at is, you know, some of them have some chunks and it just doesn't go through the injector, just like the straight teriyaki does. So just be aware of that. Unless you get bigger holes in your injector, you might have some issues there. But as you can see, it's just pumping it up. You just put a little bit in, it goes out. That's all right. It's not going to hurt anything. Put a little bit more seasoning on it to where it's kind of coming out. Can't have too much seasoning, especially this honey rub. Really good. And what we're going to do is get the smoker set up to 275 and let it do its thing. We're going to go get that going. So we're up at the smoker. I'm on the Green Mountain grill, the Daniel Boone version, which is kind of the middle version. What's nice about them, you just kind of push the button and it'll go through its cycle, and then it'll go up to 150. Once you hit 150, then you can set it to whatever temperature you want. So I just have the multi-blend pellets in there. So there's apple, there's cherry, so it should give it a nice flavor for the chicken. You don't want a real hearty pellet in there. So once this gets up to the 150, then we'll hit it to 275, and that's where we'll cook it. And once it gets there, we'll put the chicken in and show you how that goes. So as you can see, I'm at 277. Had it set at 275, and that's where I'm going to pretty much cook. The Green Mountain usually stays pretty stable. My hot spot is over on the far right, so I'm going to put all this over to the left and kind of check it. Probably a half hour. We're going to put some butter on it, so it'll make it nice, you know, nice and crispy on the outside. So stay tuned. So in about a half hour, we'll kind of turn it and kind of show you how we finish it up. You know, so what we're doing is we're waiting on the Green Mountain to warm up. So go through its cycle. So as you can see, we have it on the Blackstone, the Adventure Series, the portable griddle, which makes it nice. So what we're going to do along with the chicken, we're going to do some potatoes. So in potatoes, along with the chicken, need some bacon. Everybody loves bacon. So we're just going to put some bacon on here. You know, when we're grilling bacon, your neighbors really smell it. And they're like, man, that smells good. Wonder what somebody's cooking. Well, you're cooking with Pat. Here's our bacon. We're gonna keep it for a little bit later, and I'll show you how we're gonna finish everything up. While that chicken's cooking, what I did is cut up some potatoes. You can see in little cubes, and just kind of putting them on the Blackstone, letting them heat up, and then we'll throw some onions on and some garlic and some spices, and then we'll put it all together with the chicken and the bacon, and it'll be a nice meal to put together, probably under an hour and a half. So the chickens takes about an hour and 15 minutes to cook. Potatoes, you know, we're talking 15 minutes. So everything kind of goes together fairly quickly. And so I'll show you how everything finishes up. Stay tuned. The potato's been cooking for about 5 minutes. So what I want to do now is get the onions on. Just have them cut up, just kind of put them all over. Can't have too many onions. Here's garlic that we basically, you know, kind of put through the press, and just kind of put that on all over. And then here's some bigger garlic cloves. You can't go wrong with eating some of these cloves. Or as my mom said, the toes of the garlic. And then we'll put some of the Kidder's garlic and herb seasoning on there. Potatoes can take a lot of seasoning, so probably 10 minutes away. We'll be back here in a soon. As you can see, the potatoes are looking good, getting brown. Onions are good. That garlic's kind of mixing in on everything. What's nice about the griddle, you can cook it and make it as brown and as you want. I like it pretty crispy, so you know, it'll go along well with the crispy bacon. But I mean, you look at these onions and you know that the neighbors are smelling this and they're like, what is Pat cooking? But I put seasoning on it, so we're about done. Once we get this done, I'm gonna put a little Parmesan cheese on it, some bacon, and it'll go great with that chicken. That we're about done. So really a total cook time for this whole thing is about an hour and a half. Even though we kind of started like, hey, I didn't get this chicken marinated, but you know, look at it. It'll be a perfect dinner. Nobody will ever know that you didn't have everything ready ahead of time. So stay tuned, we're about done. So potatoes look great. I'm gonna turn these burners off so I don't forget, because I've done that before. And I like them pretty crispy, so as you can see, some of them are pretty brown. But what we're gonna do is put these on here. Man, they smell great with the garlic, the seasoning, everything on there, the bacon grease, because how we use that bacon before. It's just, I mean, nice and crispy, the onions. But what's nice about this griddle, it's easy to cook, easy to clean. You know, what's nice, you know, about this little adventure series, you can take it with you. So if you go camping, it's easy to move around. So we're going to get this together, the chicken, the potatoes, and you're really going to enjoy it. Well, stay tuned. We're at the half-hour mark. Kind of wanted to turn these around. Kind of turn them over. Looking good. Put a little more seasoning on them. Check what the temperature is supposed to be at 165 for chicken. As you can see, we're at about 140, 138. Check this one, 136. As I said, my hotspot's over here on the Green Mountain, so I'm trying to just kind of keep it, move them around a little bit. So we probably have another 15 minutes. So what we'll do is probably another 5 minutes. I'll bring out some butter, put it on there, and just keep putting the butter on there and put a nice coating on it, make it real nice. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is put some butter and garlic salt on here. Not going to really, we're just going to kind of drip it on. It has a really good color, but just kind of put some of this butter on there, get a little garlic. You know, the neighbors are like, man, what's somebody cooking? And they're probably saying that's probably cooking with Pat. We've been on about 45 minutes, and what I'm going to do now is put a little bit of Sweet Baby Ray's on some of them. You know, just kind of put it on there. And kind of use a little brush and kind of put it on there a little bit. Then I also have, I like the Parmesan garlic from BW3's, put on chicken. We're all family here, right? I'll just use the same brush for the barbecue and kind of move that around. Should be about 160 right now. We've been on about 45 minutes, so probably another 5 minutes or a couple minutes. We'll be able to take it off. We'll put on the cheese and the bacon, and we'll be ready to go. So stay tuned. Been another about 5 minutes. I mean, it's looking great. Let's put this Pampered Chef in there. 157, 162, 165, 66. That looks great. Here we are, another one, 167, a little bit higher. It's kind of our low point right in there. I think we're pretty much done. So what we're going to do is take these off, let them rest a little bit, and then we'll kind of get the bacon and cheese and everything on them and be ready to eat. So stay tuned. So what we're going to do now is just kind of put everything together. So we got our chicken, Put that on here. Looks really good. Put a little cheese. Still pretty hot, so it'll kind of melt that. Have a little bacon. Can't go wrong with bacon. Got on there. Grab some potatoes. Some garlic in there. Man, that looks good. Can always use salt and everything. Can't go wrong with more bacon. Put some cheese. Still pretty hot, so that'll melt. Parsley. Give it a little pop there. But as you can see, about an hour, half, we're kind of have this, and I screwed up. I didn't have it marinated, but as you can see, it turned out pretty well. So what I'm going to do is kind of cut this up in half. Kind of show you. Pretty juicy. Everything's pretty moist. Pretty nice meal for about an hour, a little bit over an hour and a half. Plenty of extras. So if you have 4 or 5 people over, I think you're going to enjoy it. Thanks, and thanks for cooking with Pat.